Hi, I'm Deb Morris, and I'd like to welcome you to Politics and Prose on behalf of the staff and the owners. In these very interesting times that we live in, it's always a pleasure to have an author who comes to raise questions and to present an interesting challenge for our audience. Mark Green, as many of you know, is a very active young man. He's been involved in democratic and progressive politics for a very long time. He's also a very prolific author. And so it is with particular pleasure that we bring him here tonight with his new book, Losing Our Democracy, which raises, I think, a lot of important questions that I'm sure you'll be able to discuss with him in the Q&A. We have an audience mic. We encourage you to use it during the question and answer period because of the C-SPAN audience and for your fellow listeners here who may not be able to hear your question. So it's right here in the center. And thank you all for coming in. Here's Mark Green.
Thank you, Deb, and thank you for the kind introduction. And we will all ignore the inherent contradiction that I'm a young man who's been in politics a very long time. But thank you for an invitation back to Politics and Prose. I was here a little over 2 years ago when I discussed my book written with Eric Alterman, The Book on Bush. And it did better than we thought or deserved. I have no doubt it's because inspired by the Politics and Prose talk. Bush then, as many of you know, won re-election. And I've won and I've lost, like all of us, and I figured, all right, life goes on. Then I got mad. I listened to his second inaugural address, and I say this not to be humorous. It was actually eloquent about a Wilsonian vision of democracy abroad. I said, democracy abroad? He talks about democracy in Iraq more than he talks about democracy in America. And he seems to want to export it more than practice it here. Had he ever, I thought to myself, and I couldn't remember when, given a talk as governor, 8 years, as president, 4 years, where he promoted the franchise. He tried to make the executive branch more transparent, Congress more accountable. I couldn't think of it. Hence, Losing Our Democracy, which points out the hypocrisy gap or cavern between his words abroad and his deeds at home.